shooting a few reviews back to back because I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I have Sundance reviews, I have TV show reviews, and I got Oscar thoughts. And there's this kind of weird down period that I'm sure everyone who is watching this video on the Oscars, maybe they're all feeling it too. My views certainly reflect that that is the case, which is ceremonies going on a little long. It's not going to be until like mid March, and we're all just kind of sitting here and we're like, okay, SAG hasn't happened yet, DGA hasn't happened, PGA hasn't happened. Right now, it's just like the Grammys just happened, Emmys just happened, Super Bowl's about to happen, so movies are kind of out of the conversation. Also, given the fact that there just isn't really any good movies in theaters right now, I'm sure, like I said, I think we're all feeling that right now in our awards race prognosis and how we're all feeling. To be honest, I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about certain aspects of it. So, when thinking of this review, I've been doing my power rankings, right? Where I talk about the animated, or, well, I guess I gave that away of which topic I'm talking about today, but where I talk about the power rankings of each category, what I see happening in each one. And that's the same what we're gonna do today. However, I wanted to kind of change it up, kind of change up the style and just kind of do a compare and contrast with it. And the reason I wanted to do that is because let's just get into best animated feature, which is I think the big one to talk about today. There's five films. I've seen three of them. One of them I don't know when I'm going to see because at this moment I heard Robot Dreams is getting released in May of 2024, which don't know what to deal with that. And I guess we'll talk about it in a second. And then Nimona I will see before the awards race, but I really don't see it being in the awards race. So that leaves us The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, of course, the first one won the best animated picture a few years ago. Boy and the Heron is Miyazaki, and then Elemental is Pixar. So we have some three big titans in this category. And I think everyone is kind of feeling the exact same way. Robot Dreams and Nimona, it is an honor to be there. Elemental, it's not Pixar's best work, even though it ended up being a success for them. And thus we're left with The Boy and the Heron and Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. And do I keep mispronouncing Heron? 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 However you say, mean to say it. Miyazaki's film. So let's kind of talk about this race and just kind of break down the categories of it and what I'm feeling about it going forward. And I think let's just kind of start with the compare and contrast. How could they win and how might they lose? So let's just make the case for The Boy and the Heron. How could it win? Well, it's a critically acclaimed animation film from one of the most beloved, if not the most beloved animator in the world in Miyazaki. And this very well may be his last film. You want to know how beloved he is? Look at the cast that agrees to be in a Miyazaki film, whether it's Robert Pattinson, whether it's Gemma Chan, Christian Bale, Mark Hamill, Willem Dafoe, Dave Bautista, all these names, Tony Revolori and Dan Stevens just in there for little bitty parts. Florence Pugh's in here. Like that kind of shows you the respect that this filmmaker brings to the Academy. Like there is a real actor feeling of wanting to participate and make this material right. And that would be the case. This might be the last time we have a chance to honor Miyazaki. And then on the flip side, or the flip verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Well, we know there's a third film coming out. Lord of the Rings, True Towers. Well, it's like, well, we know Return of the King is going to come. Kind of maybe a few years ago with Dune, where we're like, well, we know Dune Part 2 is coming, so maybe we can reward it big then for the best picture and the best director. But we have time. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse might fall into that category where it's just like you look at it and you're just like, well, we have time to reward this film. Well, we have time to reward Miyazaki. And I think that's the big point in the conversation that we're going to be having today. But first, I just wanted to take a quick sponsored break. The new year brings new year resolutions, and I can tell you one of mine's is hygiene. I really want to focus on my personal hygiene, and that's why I'm glad our friends over at Manscaped are introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's every man's cheat code to look good and feel good and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're looking to maintain a trim or goes with that clean shaven look, this trimmer has you covered. And I know what every man is thinking right now. I would never want to put a blade down there. That's just too scary. Well, the good thing is Manscaped's got you covered because they are equipped with two skin safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It's like having a personal stylist at your fingertips. And did I mention the best thing about Manscaped? This razor, you want to use it in the shower? Well, guess what? It's waterproof. Get yourself the MVP of 2024 Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and get 20% off and free shipping with the code FilmSchoolDrop at manscaped.com. That is FilmSchoolDrop at manscaped.com, because nothing says Happy New Year like a deal that leaves your balls and your budget feeling refreshed. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this episode. Make sure to use that code FilmSchoolDrop for discounts on all your Manscaped needs. And so let's get back into this category. And in talking about the Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse going up against each other, let's just kind of talk about the champions of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I just mentioned a wild cast for Miyazaki's film. This one has Haley Steinfeld, Brian Tyree Henry, Jake Johnson, Jason Schwartzman, Issa Rae, Shea Wiggum, Greta Lee, Daniel Kaluuya, Mahershala Ali, Oscar Isaac. This is a big cast too. I mean, J.K. Simmons is in here. You have trying to look, Andy Samberg, of course. There's just so many names that appear in here. Rachel Dratch, like A.L. Lordy, like Donald Glover's really briefly in here. Jack Quaid, Cliff Robinson's briefly. Well, he's not really in it, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like there is also, that is another case of a really big cast coming to play for this movie. So that's the case for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Also, just personally for myself, Across the Spider-Verse worked a little bit better for me uh than The Boy and the Heron did. But also on that flip side, The Boy and the Heron is a complete story, I guess, if you will say. And I've already made the case how I thought that people arguing that Across the Spider-Verse wasn't a complete story. I don't think the point of it was ever to be a complete story. And I also found it to have a very satisfying narrative conclusion in the way it ends, leaving on a cliffhanger, which felt very, one, reminiscent of comic book style, and two, also just felt well earned, and they do enough with the Gwen Stacy character that there is an actual arc emotionally through the entire film. And again, it doesn't matter because a lot of films are part twos or threes. It's a part one of two or whatever you might want to call it. Like it's totally fine. Get over it. But some voters might hold it against it. Again, kind of that feeling of, well, we'll nominate it for part three. This isn't even, it's really its own complete story. Yada, yada, yada. I think that's a weird way to look at it, but we also should be in that feeling. So, what am I thinking? What am I thinking right now is going to happen? It's a great question. What do I think? I have made it clear that I think Miyazaki is going to win this award this year. I just think there's so much support of him as a director. I think the fact that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is one being kind of hit by the fact that it is one, we already rewarded a film like it in 2018 with Into the Spider-Verse. Two, we'll have a chance to reward it again in the future. And three, is it even really a complete movie? Again, I don't agree with that narrative, but that might be the narrative. So that's why I'm kind of leaning The Boy and the Heron. Now the case sorry, I've been having some bad coughs recently. The case I think also that's helping Miyazaki here is the Academy has significantly become more international, which means it could reward a film like Miyazaki. And Miyazaki was always a filmmaker that actually broke over, if you will, to the Academy and to the United States. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is also having to deal with some controversy on the production of that movie and how rigorous the VFX were for it and the animation styles and rewriting of the scripts. It just had some bad press or think pieces, I think I should say. And I don't think people are swayed by the think pieces, but I also am not convinced that they don't play any matter, if that makes sense. So currently, Tuesday, February 6th, at this moment, I am saying Miyazaki will win Best Animated Feature. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see if that actually pans out the way I think it is. Anyway, my name is Ben Friedman. You can probably tell I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to get going. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back for a more traditional episode in probably next week, or in some form we'll be talking about it week by week until we get to it. I have a fun gimmick for best songs, so get excited for that. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe as always to my channel. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all so much for the support. I am so honored to be at 660 subscribers. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So take care. Bye bye.